Have you always been using condoms wrong? I think it's time we see if we can find the help of some fact checkers to help us find the answer on this one. And you may justifiably ask why I would ask such a silly thing. Well, it's a slightly long story, but bear with me. You see, my question developed like this. This morning I shared a meme on Facebook. I didn't make it, so I can't take credit for the greatness, but I copied it and pasted it because whoever it was that stole it from someone else didn't make it shareable. Anyway, a few hours later, I find the meme was fact-checked for Facebook, apparently by PolitiFact. Whoa, they must really know facts about, like, political things. It's right there in the name. It was rated as partly false, also known as mostly true, and damaging to the Agenda 2030 New World Order plans in some way, and thus also censored to protect people from a joke that may make them think. PolitiFact complains that it is a mixture of true and false statements, or simply incomplete, and then elaborates that the positivity rate, the rate at which people test positive, is also increasing, and that is supposedly conclusive proof that it isn't only increased testing resulting in an increase in cases. See, that's why they needed to censor a meme. Testing is not the only factor. The word only doesn't appear in the meme. Do they need to tell you how much of the increase in cases is due to that factor? And how much is due to testing? No. They're PolitiFact. They can leave you hanging so that governments can use it as an excuse to train you for just a little bit longer in the new normal. By the way, little war tip. Any company or business uses the phrase new normal, you stop using their product or service and you let them know. That last part's crucial. You let them know. Just send them a one-sentence email. It's all you need. But that's what we're seeing now all over the place. The increase, the spike in cases, not deaths. And the other thing is the second wave that we have to anticipate and expect. And what's the other thing? The new swine flu. There's now a new swine flu that you need to worry about, that we'll maybe get back to later. In fact, let's not get back to it later. Let's do it now. What the manipulating, dying media is not telling you about the last swine flu pandemic is that recently European families were compensated because their children got brain damage from the previous swine flu epidemic's vaccine. They don't want to talk about the fact that vaccines can and do in fact cause damage. So the rate of positive tests is increasing. Really? How do you know? How many false positives or false negatives have there been around the world, PolitiFact? Have you counted? Because that is all over the media. Tests have been shown to be unreliable or even contaminated for months now. They are only now starting to become more accurate. How do you know the rate is increasing? Chumps! Huh? Where's the evidence? Where do you supply the evidence for that? That you've controlled for those factors? Look, I'm sure it's not beyond you to make up an excuse for that, but let's move on to this then. This was the other part of my morning I was confronted with. What about this, PolitiFact? Daily Maverick jumping on the bandwagon of the new slogan doing the rounds in the global media, the spike in cases, or the second wave, that was the trigger for my meme getting fact-checked. The headline reads, Brace Gauteng, smallest province becomes COVID-19 epicenter as hospitals get hammered. Why isn't this rated as a partly false or deceptive headline, or mix of true and false, or simply incomplete? Gauteng is also the most populous province, has the most households, and is the most densely populated. The only surprising thing here is that it is only now becoming the epicenter. But it's a leftist, Ferial Hafaji. So she is allowed to make the smallest province becoming the epicenter seem like a really big crisis in her headline. But my meme had to be censored. The point I was trying to make in posting the meme, as you can see by the hashtags, and which will bring us to our crucial condom question, is what about the 4 mystery months, as I call them, December to almost April, before we stopped international travel? What about those 4 mystery months? We had no infections in these mystery months from this highly contagious virus that's going to kill grandma. Until the beginning of March, suddenly. Have you ever asked yourself exactly how stupid these politicians think you are? Of course you will find cases everywhere if you look for them. Almost everyone in the metros have been exposed already. And remember, in the beginning, testing was selective. Not everyone who wanted to be tested could get a test. And there was a huge backlog in labs when testing got ramped up. That is now starting to clear, and testing has increased even further. And now we're all supposed to bow down to our overlords with talk of possibly going back to higher levels of lockdown because there is a spike in cases. I may not be a virologist, but I also don't have an air-conditioned parliament temperature IQ. These 4 mystery months that our media and their experts completely ignore in all this talk about the spike in cases is what brings me back to our condom question I asked in the beginning. Have we always been using them wrong? Are we supposed to put one on 3 to 4 months after that night when we wanted to prevent the pregnancy or the STD? Hey, PolitiFact, can we use them like that, you morons? Because that is what we're being asked to believe. It's no different. Fact check that, you pretentious twats. Please remember to click subscribe and the bell for notifications, and you can find us in the following places.